This one's mainly for fellow channel operators, but I imagine the rest of you might find this at least a little bit interesting. And since July is shaping up to be a really slow month for the indies, you're going to have to live with a few more videos like this. So, today's video concerns my comment policy and a very, very simple tool that I have used to enforce that policy that I refer to as the troll bounce. But first, about that policy, because the policy is also extremely simple. It is 4 words. It is, don't be a dick. Simple, right? You can disagree, you can have a completely different opinion, you can think that I'm dead wrong or that another commenter is dead wrong or that anyone else on the internet is dead wrong, as long as you express that in a way that is not dickish. It's a matter of respect. Respect is given when respect is due. You meet respect with respect. And when I make these videos, I am offering you respect. I am not giving you the usual complainy, whiny, AAA sucks kind of thing you get with video essays from small creators. I am giving you something that is taking my time and my talents. I am respecting your time. And even if you don't like what I say, and even if you think it's wrong, you have a contrary opinion, by all means express that opinion. Just do so with a comparable level of respect. Of course, it's YouTube, and as we've all known for a long, long time, YouTube's comment sections are a septic tank. I was thinking the other day, trying to figure out when the first time I heard someone complaining about YouTube's comments, and I want to say it was really early. It was like 2009 or 10 when people realized that there is something about this site that just turns people into the worst kind of assholes, or maybe just draws them out. But yeah, you see this all over the place. You see it from creators far bigger than me talking about their bad comments, replying to their bad comments. But I have a very, very simple approach to this, because I feel like I get about as many bad comments as people far larger than me. But I have a very, very simple response, which is the troll bounce. And the troll bounce is something you are seeing on your screen right now. If you've been following this channel for a while, if you've watched some of my more popular videos that get all of these replies, and often not particularly nice ones, you've probably seen this. You've probably seen this from me. And that's because this is my standard cut and paste reply to anyone who leaves a comment that is hostile, insulting, dramatically off topic, or otherwise bad. If you go into the description right now, there will be the full text of this, and I encourage all of you who run channels to copy this down, keep it on your computer in a little notepad file, and then when you get a bad comment, when you get someone getting nasty, reply with the troll bounce. If your channel's a little bit larger, so you're getting more comments and you're a little more technically minded, put it under a macro. Just hit a button, boom, troll bounce pops up. Easy. This has become something of a topic of conversation among small to mid-sized YouTube content creators over the last few years. How do you deal with your negative, with your trolly comments? Do you engage? Do you ignore? Do you report? Well, this is how I deal with mine. I deal with mine with what I refer to as a specific act of disrespect. I do have an origin story for this, and it dates back to when I was still writing short fiction, which I did for 4 or 5 years before giving up because the rewards were not worth the headaches. And pretty much all of the people I submitted to, all of them disrespected me. And I got a lot of ridiculous reasons that they rejected me, usually just getting stock responses. The ones who did respond, I got responses that were really snotty. I got responses that were super nitpicky, that were really pedantic. I got responses that were loaded with politics and were reading all these social messages into everything I wrote, regardless of whether or not they were there. But there was one that has always stood out for me as the single worst, and it's because it contained a specific act of disrespect. All of these people disrespected me. They all viewed me as being beneath them, but this particular publication chose to disrespect me with intent. This publication had a lot of rules about content. It was supposed to be this super family-friendly type of thing, so you weren't allowed to have anything that could be considered objectionable to anyone. And one of the rules, because a lot of publications have rules like that, But this one, they were especially harsh on profanity. No cuss words at all. And this is the kind of publication where the editors would use the term cuss words. Nothing at all. And so whenever I submitted to them, I had to go through and sanitize everything I was sending. But this one time, I sent off a story where I missed a use, one or two uses, of the word damn. Nasty stuff, right? Now, normally, this should result in them just sending it back and saying, yeah, you used a cuss word, that you're not allowed to do that, and so we're not going to take it. Instead, they chose to put it on their short list. Now, the thing about spec markets is, unlike your litfic markets, usually you're not allowed to do simultaneous submissions. If I send a story out to someone, it's there, it's stuck there. I can't send it to anyone else until they either accept it or pass, until I get a decision. Now, the upside of that is, unlike the litfic markets, which can take months, in some cases over a year to decide, specfic markets are pretty quick. You're looking at a couple weeks tops. So that's kind of the trade-off. But this does mean if you get onto their shortlist for consideration, you can be locked in for several months. And in this case, I was waiting 4 months to hear back from these people, during which time I couldn't do anything else with this story. Several contests open, several anthologies that it would have been very well suited for. I wasn't allowed to submit to any of them because I was waiting on these people who, unbeknownst to me, had already rejected it because of the cussin'. And after 4 months, I finally hear back from them where they tell me, yes, indeed, we have rejected you. And then they tell me, and I will never forget this, we noticed early on that you used the word damn, and that is against our rules, but we decided to hold it for consideration anyway. It is against our rules, though, so we're not taking it. Not an exact quote, of course, but this is what they did. And it's really 2 acts of disrespect, because holding on to it for 4 months and screwing me over and wasting my time deliberately, that's kind of an incidental act of disrespect. That's just a result of them looking down on me. But then to send me a message saying, yeah, we knew all along we weren't going to take your story, we held on to it just to deliberately waste your time, that was the specific act of disrespect. And that one always stuck with me. Now, it is 2025 as I am saying this. And in the year of our Lord, 2025, I feel like we all have a pretty good understanding of how the big internet-based platforms work. And particularly, I think we are all familiar with the concept of engagement. You know, it's not the mid-2010s when only people on the inside knew how these things worked. We all understand engagement and how that works with things like recommendation algorithms. And as a result, everyone knows, or should know, that leaving nasty comments on YouTube videos doesn't make a lot of sense. Because when you leave a comment, what you are doing is telling the system, telling the algorithm that I, the creator, have done something right. And it will then recommend that video to more people. You have to be really, really stupid to be a YouTube comment section troll in 2025. And when someone chooses to leave trolly, shitty, disrespectful comments, I feel like it is my duty to let them know that they are actually helping me out. But I am not going to take a lot of time to do it. And that is really the specific act of disrespect here. It is not me replying and telling them thank you for helping me out by juicing my numbers. It is me saying, yeah, you've helped me out. I don't care enough to make this personalized. I care enough to take 4 seconds to pop open a notepad file, Control-C, Control-V. That's all I care. So next time you get a trolly shitty comment on one of your videos, I strongly encourage you, I really, really do, to steal my troll bounce and use it yourself. I want to see this thing all over the platform. If you want to use it on other platforms, cool. Anywhere that you have this same kind of engagement-centered system, which is all over the place now, any place you're dealing with that kind of thing, copy this, use it there. I want to see this troll bounce everywhere because it makes me giggle.